Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, love, joy, happiness, freedom. Welcome, welcome, welcome to everyone. Thank you to, what is this? Oh yeah, Talcott Tuesday. It's Talcott Tuesday, guys. Boys and girls, let's have some fun today. Sincerely, all of you guys who have already popped in, said hello. Yes, happy Talcott Tuesday. I'm having fun. I am so filled with inspiration, right? This live without fear, and peace is available. Choose love, my friends. In the here and now, with me, choose to love from now on. Golly geez, I've had so many thoughts, so many new observations and inspirations that I want to share. But I know myself, and I know sometimes when I try to share too much, sometimes I overcomplicate things. And I really, my goal, my intention for why I'm sharing me with you, and thank you sincerely. I wouldn't be sharing me without you. So thank you for being a part of this experience, man. Holy cows. My intention for our time together, sincerely, I want to help you uncomplicate your own life. My life's not complicated. Okay, all right. I'm happy. Okay, all right. Yeah, you're doing better than me. You don't have to listen to me. I got no relationships. I got no big bank account. I got nothing. Except genuine, honest love and true freedom. And I want you to claim your freedom. I want you to know your true love. Today, well, what did I share today? I don't even remember. I did, let's start with the start. Talcott Tuesday, especially. Choose love, brothers and sisters, in the background of the image, the background of me. Let's choose love together, and may we all walk through today from now on with a divine faith, divine love, divine peace as known through Christ Jesus. Claim that shit, man. Don't let anything get in your way of your faith, of your love, of your peace, man. Don't let anything get in the way of that. They're your birthrights. So grow your faith, your gratitude, your self-worth. Claim those things through an intentional expansion of your vocabulary. I'm a personal testimony of the path, the distance from hell and heaven, right? It's about that distance there. You can live in the hell of your mind, trapped in your memories and your judgment, your bitterness, and your internal conflicts with everything. You can also live in hell with problems. You can pick up problems of everybody if you want to. See, that's the trick of the game. This life is all about if you want to. Do you want to do that? Do you want to be rude? You want to be untrustworthy? You want to be cruel? You want to be an alcoholic? What are you doing? Right? What do you want? We're here to grow, brothers and sisters. And the best way to grow is to have some variety in your life. It's real easy to become a prisoner in your mind a prisoner in your limitations. I was blessed earlier today. That's right. I was the Talcottian adventure, man. Earlier today, I was on a fun stream with the Optics Are High Moose, my old co-producer from long ago, man. But anyway, we were having some great conversations. I think it was today that he said it, but Machine Lies offered forth freedom is knowing where your limits are and walking freely, choosing freely within your limits. Suffering is created within us when we long for, we want what is out of our reach. It's a denial. We're not accepting that, okay, there's a distance at this time between what my heart desires, my mind imagines, and what I want to experience. Because of that distance, if I don't accept that distance, well, then I'm gonna hurt. Why? I'm choosing to be, well, I'm choosing that. I must want to hurt because there's a distance from me and what I want. Our mind can convince us of all sorts of crazy, silly stupidness, and then we act out these silly, crazy stupidness because the world we were born into, it enables the crazy and the stupid. It really does. These people that are on the news and stuff, they're not as smart as everyone thinks. I mean, they're smart. I don't want to dismiss them, but they've lost connection, man. People in politics are fighting over their Republican and Democratic parties and all these conventions of our side has to win or hell will happen. Holy shit, man. I'm sorry. These thoughts came up because I was reminded of, I saw the news with, what's her name? Harris, the DNC. And then and then luckily, one of the media channels did interview Marianne Williamson outside of the DNC, right? Because she got pushed out of the options because of the corrupted system. Anyway, so Marianne Williamson outside of the DNC talking about how there is an immediate human crisis, right? There's time for peace and time for reform. There's a lot of lip service happening inside the DNC and all these RNCs, and holy crap, man, don't get confused. Don't accept the confusion of the world as your own. I want to help your life improve with the encouragement that you can expand, right? Expand your mind beyond the old limits and the old habits. I don't want to tell you what to think, but I want to help you observe and help you realize how you are thinking, because what you think truly matters in your life and in the lives of those who experience you. What you think becomes what you say, what you do, and what you feel and what you experience. So the power of words, most often it's best to seek the silence. And back to the Talcottian adventure, where I'm speaking to you from, I've spent my morning again exploring the limits of my heaven. I am free to do as I choose each day, as are you. If you want to obey a schedule you created for yourself, or you agreed to, or someone else created for you, if you want to obey circumstances, let that be the limit of what you can explore, what you can enjoy, well, that's up to you. But if you want to capture the life you've been given, the life you're living today and from now on, allow your mind to consciously, intentionally go to heaven. Figure out what heaven means for you, right? For me, talk about this often. You go to heaven for the answers. That's where the kingdom of God is, where the Spirit, where Christ is found. And we always want that loving answer because the loving answers reveal the truth. The truth, when you really find the right perspective of the truth, it's pretty funny. I mean, God's got an incredible sense of humor as far as I can tell. Why not? Everything else seems to be divine and extreme. So why not assume God has an incredible, amazing sense of humor? And that's how all of your mistakes, your stupidity and mine, that's how God finds forgiveness. It's like, you little children. You can play war and battle. I'll choose who wins. You know, that's how God works. It's like the order of the universe reveals existence, and then people walk around with all these opinions of what existence has shown. And then these opinions make them all bitter, and their bitterness pushes people away, and then they feel all alone in a world that's glorious. It's magnificent. This world we've been given, the order of nature reveals the intelligence of the creator, and there's balance and cooperation in nature. That's been driven out in our society. So today I was allowed to have conversations with some friends who joined the panel, and I'll be dropping the link here if you guys have happened to tune in already. But uh, had some great conversations with friends from online earlier. Then I mentioned in a previous stream, brothers and sisters, Jack's knocking on doors. I'm making invitations. I still have not followed up with Bruce with the space treaty perspective, but I did get a phone call today from the International Peace Coalition. And it looks like if everything comes together, we may have a very special and very informed guest tomorrow, right? Because the war drums are beating, whether people are paying attention to it or not. There's a true life human. There's true tragedies happening in this world right now that could be easily avoided. And I believe the next generation, right, shortly down the future, people will be looking back and saying, why did this happen? Why was this not stopped sooner? That's what I hope to do, right? Join me, brothers and sisters, becoming the greatest you, knowing that peace on earth is your purpose too, just as it is mine. We're not here to be warriors with each other. The only war and battle we need to resolve is the denial of ourselves. We must seek alignment with perfection. Become the perfect solution. Become the perfect whatever. Be the best version that you can and trust in the divine order of creation. It wants you to succeed. Our limitations come from our mind, our pride, our arrogance, thinking we believe the future, thinking this plan, my plan, this is the only way. Yeah. I've seen God's humor. It's like I make a plan and I imagine success and I do everything that I've been taught and I learned about, manifestation and order and success. I create these opportunities and I trust this is my plan. No, God says, no, nah, not today, Jack. Go back and pray and meditate some more. You got some more learning, some more growing to do. Time's not yet, Jack. So that's what I've been doing, man. I've been spending my time in heaven, seeking, right? Bringing in the Holy Spirit. What I'm offering to you to consider for you. Spending time, pausing, to really consider who you are. What labels are you limiting yourself to, right? Even moms and dads, those titles, they forget that they're still children, right? There's still so many other things. We can limit ourselves with our definitions, limit each other with our judgment and our labels, and we can keep pretending that we're all divided, that as long as I've got a roof over my head, well, those lazy people, they're not working hard enough, right? They're just seeking handouts. We live in a corrupted world because people have lowered their morality for themselves and each other. See, the wealthy, the selfishness, these billionaires that like to take joy rides into the stratosphere just to have fun with their life, I guess. Well, they're all enabled. Jeff Bezos is enabled by the hard-working employees that the computers are mastering, right? All this data and technology, monitoring results and productivity takes away from the human factor, right? All of us Amazon Prime customers, I allowed mine to expire. And until things change, until I learn of change, I cannot support organizations like Amazon. I try to avoid spending my fiat currency in support of those who I know are oppressive. That includes the United States government. Praise God. I never in my wildest dreams, even as a child, I never even imagined this possibility for myself. Trying so hard, everything I can think of, to be a spokesperson for peace. And yet I've been doing it since I was a child on the playground, watching the bullies and no, you're not on my team and you can't be with me. Watching all that nonsense on the playground, I was like, guys, can't we just get along? Can we just stop fighting so we can have fun and play? God, I wasn't liked very much. Hey, you know what? With that, I am truly filled and inspired with joy once again today. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the invitation for those who want to experience the Talcott Tuesday joy with me directly. Let's come and hang out and see what comes up. But oh yeah, I had notes. I'm learning here. Here's the practice, right? Ooh, we've got a fun guest. We've got a fun guest that well, you either love him or hate him. Let's see what he brings today. Welcome.
Well, let me get two Talcott Tuesday Taco Supremes. Let me get a large McNemesis. And
Oh no!
And what's the War Ender? Is
The
it like a bucket?
Ender.
The bucket deal? And I got a coupon to jack all that up. The jack up. Does the diesel come through? I feel like the microphone's gonna block the diesel out. Does the diesel come through?
I didn't hear it.
Man, phones are getting good, man. I had it right up to the microphone. Just like 11 hours of diesel motor idling, and it doesn't come through. It's right up to the microphone because it thinks I'm in a car and it blocks it out.
Okay.
But it really sells the drive-through bit on my end. It sounds like drive-through.
It did kind of sound like drive-through. I was wondering what was up, but Tony,
I've ran that bit on you before. Usually when McNemesis is up here.
You are so fucking funny. I do.
Yeah, if only I was a stand-up comedian in a world full of Jack Talcotts.
Imagine that. Would you enjoy that?
Probably. Well,
find a way to happen. You can live the life Brian OShea is living better than he can. If you get on
You'd
the
think he'd be
comedy version,
funnier. Like my funny, like a lot of comedians, my funny is based on misery and tragedy. You'd think Brian would be hilarious.
I
Like, oh
know
my God, he's probably lived more of a miserable life than I have.
he's
Not
still
that my life is
miserable.
just miserable, but that's where the
No,
comedy can be found.
that's what I've learned too. Brian, I think, is still in the miserable and angry stage. Once he pushes past that, he'll see that God allowed him to make
I,
a joke out of his life.
I don't know if he's really angry as much, and I'm not saying this to be condescending. I don't really think he's angry as much as that dude is just stupid. Like the type of stupid he didn't pick that hand. It's not something he can improve to too much extent. Some of us are just that, you know?
I don't.
And I kind of stare a little long at Jack, like I stare real hard at him while I'm saying it.
I honestly don't think Brian is stupid. I think
There's
he's got a
ways.
confused mind.
Yeah, I think he does TaskRabbit well. I think he can drive whether he has the ID or not. But there's just times and ways he's fucking retarded.
Well, can I point out a clear way he's kind of retarded? Because there's another example too. I was
Just
thinking of
one.
earlier. Well, OTW and Brian, they're trying to be like Paul, and they're
Are you
making
saying like in the broadcasting sense or the whites and freedom sense?
in every sense, in the arrogance and trying to make fun of people that they don't understand, that they shouldn't be making fun of. They're kind of foolish and arrogant.
And the thing I'd say about OTW is I feel like he's acting out a thing where it's like, but you're not really in the community anymore. Like I went and checked out his card game he's making. Like it's kind of dumb because a lot of people have broke contact, so it doesn't really make sense. Like I don't watch his channel. I don't I know he subbed up again recently, so I figure I'm making content for him.
Hey, you know what? I hadn't been watching him either, and the only reason he came up was because I think it was yesterday. I might have made the mistake of joining his panel, considering the topic was on Jesus and is Jesus real or not. But I joined apparently after they'd been entertaining Snafu, so it turned into this nonsense. Defend yourself against liars, Jack.
Well, I will give you Jack. I feel like for the most part, his chemo thing didn't really go anywhere. I think chemo did a good job of making himself not look really great either. And you are so bulletproof. I was watching your commentary where you admitted to your rapey energy and you still are like bulletproof to the accusations. But I think it'll just help out showing to those who still don't see that Snafu is just something. I don't even know what word to use, but he's something. I mean,
Tommy, consider this in the greatest aspect. Snafu was a vision God created for us to experience. I think I've got him figured out. He's hurt and confused. He doesn't know what he's doing.
it might not be that. He might just be crazy to that extent.
Well,
Like
that's what I mean.
I might drop this. I'm chopping the filler out of it, but I've got the time that Mystic and one of the other zebras were just going at him about we were supposed to get big names, we were supposed to stop all these pedos, and it's like you're just hanging out on like Paul and OTW and these channels. And he's all cornered and explaining and trying to convince them I really am a big deal. I've done these things. So this is what
Thank
it is.
you. That's funny.
But Jack, I was thinking about your goals today, and I think you want to end the act of men taking each other's lives on a field, and I think that will happen on its own with the advancements in the things that are being used. But as far as ending wars, I would say we've all been in a war since the 2000 events and stuff, and that we are part of World War III as we're speaking. And people don't even realize they're in this war because it isn't as much about bombs and rifles on a field anymore as much as we're watching people being overcome in their minds and people fighting back with their minds. And but that's, I'm not arguing with you, Jack, but one good example, I hadn't seen Anton Daniels in a while. I forget what his numbers were at when he was interacting with us and Paul. He has blown up. Like, I don't know by how much, but he's got a couple videos almost at 1 million views. He's got whatever 100,000 subscribers. But he came across my feed because he was covering this situation in Denver where Venezuelan gangs have literally kicked people out of an entire apartment complex, and the city's like cops with badges and guns are like, well, can't do anything. Can't do anything about it. That's not a situation I think Jack could fly down here and just talk that out. Like, even my building was questionable for a while. Like, the day after buses rolled in at night, my building is full of a weird language that's not Spanish. But we weren't ran out of here by gangs. Over in Saudi Aurora, they actually are just overthrowing, and they've robbed 10 gun stores in a month. So I don't think you're going to end the kinetic conflict, but I get what you're trying to do. I get what you're saying.
The more I learned about history, the more I learned how there has been a war against the freedom and the sanity of the American people. I didn't realize how programmed and misled I had been in my life. But I mean, hell.
Well, once the CIA learned to psyop in time of war, it's only natural they do it to their own people.
Yep. Well, this is the obvious problem with some of these agencies of the government. All of the defense industry and all the militaries, they only exist if there's an enemy. So you got all these high-paid people that's sitting in rooms, disclosing to each other what they think the other people and nations are doing, and then they're creating conflicts.
Well,
Why?
but do you realize that within these agencies, that is also the war? Like, there's light and dark hats in those agencies. And I believe that there's still things going on within our government that's a battle nobody sees, because there are people that get into politics for the reasons we originally believed, for the betterment, and they're trying to conflict against those that are nefariously there.
Hey, actually, what you're saying, it describes what I'm hoping as a guest tomorrow. This Zoom call I was on the other day with the International Schiller Institute. It was
Schiller?
started. Yep.
That's going to go over well in this community.
Well, I know, and I don't understand the institute completely, but within it, they have a weekly Zoom call regarding the International Peace Coalition. And today I spoke with one of the people from that organization right before the Zoom, right before this, and in the Zoom call where I first went to, they had, here, let me back up. This Schiller Institute, as I understand, is tied
Fucking
to
chills.
Lyndon LaRoche, who is apparently running for president, and he was trying to expose and overcome. He was an economist, and he brought forth a lot of different ideas regarding peace. Anyway, the government fucking they destroyed him. 400 law enforcement, various agencies swarmed him in his house. All these crimes were alleged, and anyway, he served time, as I understand, and as a result of him and the evidence of the the combined, it's a mafia. It is a conspired action that some of the insiders of the deep state. It's sick, man. Anyway,
Well, that's all that can be. I mean, I came into this community with the old saying from the guy from Boardwalk Empire. It's all of man's problems are derived from his inability to sit alone in a room and drink tea. And it's like you could have your basic needs covered off of an acre of land, and then every desire or effort past that, you're asking for conflict or the taking it from you, the manipulation of it. It's all that can be. And that's why I think it's far more important to just show who you are in the conflict rather than it's more important to show what side you are and where you stand than to even win. Because sometimes you can't. And that, Hank, is why you have free will to be tortured, to keep your mouth shut, to still do in the face of opposition what you know is right.
brother, I love you, man. You reminded me
Man,
of some of the earlier thoughts I had about, in reality, only you can stop you. Only I can
and
stop me,
forest fires. Yeah.
right? So we are the only ones who can stop ourselves.
Well, other
And
people can stop you too.
well, they can
But we
try.
do good at stopping ourselves.
Yes. But I mean, we can only censor ourselves when we want to fight, when we want to repeat our patterns. Only the individual can choose to put down their bad, harmful ways, whether it's emotional outbursts, crying or yelling or whatever's in between, or the addictions, right? We've got to choose, and the best choice I've been finding for myself sincerely is what Tommy was saying. Choose to stop. That's what I got.
Or
And here's,
start.
oh no, what is your relationship with you when you're alone? Because
Well,
many
that's not
people,
exactly what I said, but I think you get it.
well, this is where I was thinking earlier though. And I was thinking about my past life. When I was alone, I was constantly distracted.
Masturbating. Yeah.
Sometimes, often, games on my phone, the latest, newest TV show. Although I did enjoy Vikings and stuff. Some
Yeah.
of the stuff was cool.
You ever seen 13th Warrior?
13th Warrior. I may have, but I can't remember it.
Little Antonio Banderas, little Arab guy goes off to join Vikings for whatever reason. It's a pretty cool movie.
I don't know.
The
I
lead
want,
Viking was Vigo from Ghostbusters 2.
hey, there's a lot I want to see and learn.
Oh,
But
you got
really,
a wealth out there. I mean, when Jack wants to learn, there's only up to go.
hey, no, actually,
My brain is almost full.
this was one of the inspirations I wanted to share, right? The topic, expand with variety. We can change our lives when we expand our thoughts, changing our old thought patterns. One of the best ways to overcome addiction is to consciously replace your time with learning. Learning something new will help bring in new different thoughts. So find something you want to learn
Well,
more about and learn.
I covered on the LARP church addiction edition. It's actually that better idea. It's just the challenge is if you're
Not bad.
addicted to some of the big ones, it's hard to find a better idea than those. But it's like I always pointed out, not everybody's gonna hit a moon candle, but whenever I was homeless and wasn't even on anything, but just down on myself, when I hit that moon candle, that amount of money was the possibility was a better idea that had I been addicted to something, it would have just been like, yeah, fuck that. I got to go accomplish a thing.
Our addictions and our seeking escape, it we'll get to short term thinking. We won't really pause and think, well, if I don't spend the money here, I might have a better opportunity there. But you said something about the better idea. Is that what it was you said?
Yeah, yeah.
This was another one of my notes regarding expanding and changing the vocabulary in your mind. This like versus dislike, right? That becomes a hate. But if we change to variety instead of like and dislike, we recognize that some things are pleasant, some things are displeasant, unpleasant to experience, to be around. And then we can go a little further. Instead of like, dislike, we can go to enjoy or not enjoy. And then if we have in mind that what we want to do is not the things we have to, or even the things we like to do. What do you enjoy doing? What do you enjoy getting done? These are the things to kind of change.
Well, there's a percentage of me going ruthless that's very much, when you say like and dislike, I'm seeking more dislike and discomfort, going back to that for a while. Because I think at least my time in the panelverse has been a whole lot of, I mean, there's been situations I've talked about over the 2 years when things happened that were bad, but for the most part, I've had a pretty laid back life while I was in the panelverse, and I can even see in myself, despite some other reasons I'm going ruthless. I just feel like it's time for the change up to go back and eat some shit sandwiches again. But it's much tastier when it's voluntary than involuntary.
I love that attitude. And you're right, man. But what if? What I have a theory. There's a couple of theories that came up, but only you would know. What if that direction is a self punishment? Because it sounds like you're accepting discomfort, maybe to test yourself, which I can understand that. But if it's not just to test yourself, then it might be to punish yourself. And that is within you. But
I can
here's
see where with a lot of people in a lot of situations, I can see where we'd entertain that concept. But I get so many God smacks, I'm not in any danger of self-inflicting on guilt. And I don't really have any guilt about anything except um, maybe giving some people in the panelverse too much credit compared to how they ended up. But I'm seeking the same discomfort that you would think of going to the gym. Um, that's the seeking of discomfort that's not like a guilt self-infliction.
Can I offer a different perspective then?
Yeah.
Because what if um, my topic yesterday and another one of my notes? I think I might be able to help you grow in your trust and your hope. And if you have more trust and you have more hope, brother, we could be a part of something incredible big. And I think we are a part of something incredible big. So if you could consider that,
You
where
can't
the
be a part of anything bigger than what I already am. It doesn't mean we have to team up, but I'm a part of the biggest big, the highest of high.
Tommy, I've said this a long time
Just
ago.
that's my wet works is I don't sound like it. I don't look like it, but you'd be surprised what I accomplish in these low tier of that corporation.
Tom, I have no doubt about your strength and abilities. Your
No,
ability
not
to work
mine.
well with
Not
others,
mine.
though,
I'm
you're
nothing alone.
well, I know. And think of this. What I see, you've got to accept the facts, man. You and I were brought to Paul for similar purposes, and yet you and I have found disagreements as well. So
Hmm.
I actually think there's a way to, I don't know, find resolve and growth. And Tommy, you, I'm all in, right? I've been facing this without shelter and that path for a while, but somehow, some way, things have aligned, and I've been allowed to stay
Well, you
where
know
I'm
how, you know the way, and it's just your choices. Like
my
even
faith.
when you say we were brought to Paul, I get what you're saying, but I think the correct wording is we both chose to go back, just like I choose to come here, you choose to go live. Um, I don't think there's an aspect to it where it's like, man, 1 in a million, Doc, 1 in a million shot. I definitely choose to come back on your show, Jack.
I know.
Always
And
questionable how it will go.
and my hope is eventually you'll choose to understand and accept. I trust God wants wars to end, because you said it too. There's light
No,
and
I
dark.
didn't say that.
You said something about there's light and dark working in the within the agencies, and you're right.
Oh yeah, just
So
good people, bad people.
yes, so let's, as good people, let's find a way to connect with those on the light, and let's see what we can do to help them.
That's a difficult one, man, because we're in so many layers of 6D chess. Like, do you remember on, I hate referencing movies, but it's possible in real life. That's why I do. Remember on The Departed when that undercover cop's dying and tells Leonardo DiCaprio he was a cop the whole time and he didn't know that Leonardo DiCaprio was also an undercover cop? It's like that, Jack. You're
I
not a
know,
cop.
Tommy. Whoops, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you're absolutely right. I heard these stories about these people that were literally induced, enticed into conspiring for crimes that were set up by agents. The government set up innocent people to do horrible things, and then they wanted to prosecute them for it.
Yeah, that was the guys that kidnapped that senator or congresswoman a few years ago. They were just dudes that wanted to sit around and drink and bitch about the government and ethnicities and stuff. And they found out that more than half of the group, by the time it went down, more than half of the group were federal agents that had inserted into it. And the guys were talking about how they'd always suggest upgrading, like we can get you explosives. You ever think of like maybe taking a sniper shot? They're like, no, we don't want to do anything like that. And then they finally got him to settle on trying to kidnap that lady.
Well, I wouldn't be. This is how some of these celebrities are controlled too, with the wealth and the fame offered to them, and then
Oh, they sell their
there's,
souls.
well, it's because lies have been normal, that the
No, they
value
know. They know though. Like
here.
the seeking of,
Well,
it's different when we're talking the seeking of wealth and fame. The devil very much makes, you can't be tricked into selling your soul. That's the significance of it.
right.
Like you consciously say, yes, I want this and fuck
You
them and
can.
I'll do it.
Here's the thing. This world enables evil.
It
It's
is.
right. So it's up to the good. The good are here to confront the evil. And let's find a way. Sincerely. Peace is the answer. And I'm
Eh.
my
Okay, look at it this way. Look at it this way. The violence and the conflict is both a product and a means. Because, like, if you were to come down here and trying to talk to those Venezuelan gangs in that complex, I'll probably end that day trying to infiltrate to rescue you because it's not going to go well. And it's not that I desire going in there guns blazing, it's a product of letting Jack try and talk it out with tattoo faced Venezuelans.
here's I understand, right? But the violence and the division in the world, there's so many excuses and justifications, right? But the reality is,
Causes.
if the state and state leaders can lead the way, right? America can lead the way for China and Russia and all these other nation states, nation powers. We can lead the way to overcoming and taking control of this fictional banking system. Debts can be forgiven. See,
Oh, they
much of the
will be.
crime and stuff that's happening, it's because of this fiat-based money system that's all around the world, and it's taught to children.
Well,
When Remember when you're young and you're like, what is money? What is this? Why can't I just have that? What's, it doesn't make sense.
Are you still on that level, Jack? Do you still think, why can't I just have that?
Tommy,
Because,
can I expand your imagination?
but is what I'm trying to say is this is a good way to snap you out of this talking our enemies into not doing the things. The government you want to have words with gave these immigrants, we'll call them, like 30 grand to come, and like some of it's food
It's
stamps, some
corrupted.
of it's,
It's
yeah,
corrupt.
but I mean that money is a thing.
Mhm.
Whether it's based off of an algorithm or a gold backing, it's still, the value is because we agree that
Right.
there's that value.
But you're right. And those immigrants that receive that money that we all require each other to have,
Hmm.
yeah, you're right. It's corrupt that people coming in are getting here's a small little bit as though that makes it okay what's
That's not
happening in the
small.
world.
Like
Well, you're
30K,
right.
man.
But Tommy, this is
Each,
a whole
each,
this,
Jack. It blows my mind. And we
this is
only expose this because somebody on TikTok that rang someone up at a store, it gives you their balance left when they buy something with an EBT. Shout to EBT. It shows the balance left. It was like 29,000 and something
oh,
on the
okay.
receipt. It's insane.
Sure. I here let's face the problem. The problem is that humanity has been taught that money is required. We don't need money. We
In
need
society.
connections. Well, here, let me explain. Let me try and paint a picture, right? Where if where the farmers they actually have community that supports and enjoys getting exercise, harvesting, tending to the crops, supporting the local agriculture. There's
You should
people that
try that
enjoy
community.
transporting it. Why does everyone enjoy sharing the labor with each other? Because we don't have corrupt products. We're creating good things, and there's markets where if you need something to eat, you go to the market and get what you want, what you need. We share generously, we reward the generous, and
But
we receive what
I
we
think you
need,
should
what we
come,
want.
rather than me coming and crashing your couch. I think you should come down here and ruthless with me a little while and see what I'm talking about, because these motherfuckers on the street are not some guy saying, "Hello, brother, I
They
am hungry and I need a thing and I would like to give value back for that."
no,
Nah,
right.
you can help them and they'll steal from you.
They've been abandoned. They've been kicked and beaten. They've been
No,
betrayed and
we are
hurt.
inherently evil as humans.
We're
I
not.
hate this hippie thing that a lot of people in the community say. I want to believe that humans are inherently good. My God reminds us they're not.
How about
We're
this?
born
There
sinning
is there is inherent evil in the body, in the lust and in the confused
in the
mind,
flesh. Yeah.
in the flesh. But we can align with the spirit of truth. We
I align with
become
the Spirit of God.
that God is that which reveals the truth and allows the truth.
It also allows the darkness.
Yes, it does. That
How come the people
and
that make those challenges never come to my channel and do it? That's what I want.
well, you know, this life, dude, this life is crazy, Tommy. These characters we found, they are literally they're hurt inside. They don't know what they're doing. I'm pointing at Snafu again, and right. Um,
I'm trying not to shout project. Jack, this is what I realized whenever we have a lot of disagreements and conflict. Not just you, probably with me myself too. A lot of channels in this lower tier that I want to stay at. Sometimes you're just up here, and while you're putting the context like you're informing or saying a thing, you're really just sharing yourself. Like, oh, that's what Jack thinks, or that's how Jack sees it,
mhm.
rather than this is how it is, and I try and use that for how I'll approach you.
Well, you I offer gently, right? People are free to choose what they want. I share what I feel is right within me, this with what you were talking about, Tommy, those gangs and the inner youth, it's desperation, it's anger. They see the
Uh,
injustice. I can only
no,
imagine.
that's not it.
It's a big
I'm the
part
one
of
that
it.
interacts direct all my life. I've either been, well, not all my life, but in my life, I've been inadvertently a part of organized crime. I've dealt with homeless people and wrong people. It's not just this, oh, they were good and they got wronged. Some people are just shit. That's how, like, some people got to the street because they're shit and they stay there because they're shit. And the ones that want out and the ones that want turned around help, by your all amazement, there's ways. There's already services, charities, functions to get people back on their feet. And that's
What
why I'm
is it?
putting myself through this. I've put myself through the applications, the evictions. I'm doing the thing while other channels are claiming Tom's broke. He's going homeless.
Who wants to make
And to anybody that's chatting at me, I'm not really. I got the small screen. I'm not really even looking at it. I
good for
do
you?
better when I can't see the chat. Wouldn't you agree?
I think you do. I really do. Um, you've got a way about you, Tommy. If you and I can, we're doing actually, not to rat out the chat, but there's been comments that this has been nice. You and I getting along.
Yeah, that's another reason I don't want to see the chat. I think people are right, because recently people have been, I've in different channels recently, people have been saying, hey, if you just treat Tom with respect and come at him right, he'll just sit there and be civil. And as I'm time traveling, not just for content, but as I may never return, I'm just kind of yearbooking some shows when I find them. I'm realizing all people have done for like 2+ years is they see me on a panel and they come the fuck at me. So I'll give a nod to the people saying, if you approach me right, I respond right. Uh, I think, and I'm not a victim, but I think it all stems from that narrative that was started when you and I and others branched out from a channel and other channels got involved. And everybody's still saying I'm a crypto millionaire and all the things. I think I'm still on damage control from all that. But then
I
I don't want to take away. There's some things you can say or do or come at that I'm like, oh no, this is all me. I'm getting hyped on this
right.
because of the thing.
That's one of the things I love about you. You're confusing sometimes. I think most people might agree with that, but um, I see you as pretty authentic. You say what you're saying. You say what you're feeling. You say what you're doing.
And I get how I can be confusing because I seek to get through where I was, but I think we all can say that about a lot of us because
Yeah,
of one of my core intentions with my channel. Let's clean up what words and definitions we're using to get our point across. That's part of the war, Jack. How do you divide our side? Make our communications completely confusing and irrelevant. And there's no radio signals to jam. It's just fuck their language up.
I'm trying to. I don't know. Hey, I'm actually. I saw that if you I a couple of things. I have seen you approach just get and then just you show up all of a sudden you're blindsided and attacked. I've seen that and I've been trying to figure out how do I approach you so that we can communicate because
I
I
feel
don't
like I'm scoring. Like I come on your show recently, like, let's see if I can keep Jack from doing the tyrannical Jack thing. And it's not, and I'm not even saying that I do something to cause that. I'm trying to figure out where you're, what is causing that on you, besides just giving it to you straight sometimes.
actually that's in my topic today. That I was figuring that out. What am I doing? I do what I enjoy. And if I don't enjoy people around me, they're gone or I'm gone. I ain't got to waste my
That's
time with
that's why I've
unpleasant.
lived for like 4 or 5. I don't know how long it's been since I've had a roommate, but yeah, I, as much as people say I'm like miserable hermit, no, it's like, no, I like to be alone. I like to have the option of people, but I like to remove myself and not that. I don't have that desire for cons. I don't need a female to get old beside me. Uh, the four-legged persuasion's good enough for me. And an occasional panel verse.
I
And
encourage
that's
you
why I
to
don't want to grow. Like, I don't know about you, Jack. When I was referencing Anton's numbers and stuff, if you want that, that's fine. That kind of venue, if any of us got to those numbers, I'm not gonna recognize the people I'm looking for in the chat. My chat's not gonna go slow enough for me to read it. And I really do mean I just use YouTube like MySpace 3.0. Like, I don't want all these numbers where I lose track of who I'm interacting with. I feel like we're just a sector where it's like take it or leave it. We're just a forum group among channels.
Well, that's part of it, but there is more here because Anton Daniels, I've tried getting him to follow through and let him and I have a conversation, but hasn't
Well, he used
happened.
to stop by like daily almost. But do you think he
For a
was
little
just
while.
kind of was he just climbing the ladder? Was he just getting his name out, you think?
I honestly think he was just having fun at Paul because Paul came in
Well, that
so
was a thing, yeah. Because here's the thing: this is how small this panel verse is getting. One of my Prime AMC channels recently either did an interview or referenced Anton Daniels, and I was like, "Oh, that's the enemy of my enemy. He's the guy I just did the bully video about." Because I thought this guy's still small enough to know my name in chat, so I was like, "Yeah, that bully video I just did, that's our shared enemy." But I don't even think Anton would acknowledge him anymore. I think he's shot past us so far, he'd probably barely acknowledge our time and interaction. And I'm not
well,
saying he was just climbing the ladder, but maybe we were the most activity he had going on back then because he used to come by here pretty regular.
well, here, Tom, what I'd like you to consider with me, I'm trying to use what others are doing
Yeah.
somewhat, you know, I'd love to have the audience at least for a
Poor choice of
little
words.
bit. Well, I'd love to have the audience at least for a little bit of Anton Daniels. What's the Andrew guy? The Crucible? Andrew
Oh,
Wilson?
Andrew Wilson. Well, you got Based Oracle on here a few times. I don't know if that's going to be approachable for Andrew. He is getting big too. He just put it to Wes Watson.
I saw
And
that.
Fresh and Fit talks about him. So
I'd, I'd
I've
love
got
to.
my qualms with him, but I got it. Like that's why I'm not a hater. I've got people I got qualms with. I don't deny they're shooting up there.
Tommy, this is what's so perfect. If I can get some support, here's one of the paths that I could imagine. If you allow this to play out, right? Um, Andrew Wilson and or Anton Daniels in there towards the like of Wes Watson, and from Wes Watson and others to the likes of uh, Pat Betrick, David Patrick Bett, whatever his name is.
I think I know
Hopefully,
who you're talking about.
yeah. And from him, dude, there's all sorts of platforms to reach, and that's a quick way to reach the mainstream. And the mainstream and these other bigger platforms is a quicker way to get
That's the B system
in
though.
front of the beast system,
Well, I
in
mean, the
front of
mainstream is if chat. I can't see the chat, but they'll correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was Operation Paperclip. I get Paperclip and Mockingbird interchanged.
um,
But I mean, the CIA infiltration of the media has been almost since there was media. The
yep.
same way, as soon as we invented a camera, that was the invention of Photoshop. They could always shop pictures. That's called photography.
Well, this is the thing though, where we're at now, the mainstream often feeds off the social media, and the social media feeds off of the mainstream media. So if I can grow with these ideas, let's end wars today. Immediate reforms, they're possible. Conflicts can end, debts can be resolved. We can find more fair, more just ways of living together.
Uh, Okay, but there's like, you're gonna think it's arguing, but just in those statements, there's so much to unpack. Like one day you were talking about it's so ridiculous that if a person dies, their debt continues. Like, if we just said that goes to zero because someone died, this whole thing would be even more fucked up. It's goes along with the you can't just go to a store and say I want that. Now it is
Yeah,
shitty that
great,
your debt
great.
can tumble down to the next of kin the same way your wealth can, but the fact that somebody dies and what they never paid is an effect. Uh, that is a thing, but it's also why Christians shouldn't be attached to things that are just going to burn when the world ends anyway. Those aren't the things we're after.
Here's the thing: these contracts and these financial debts, it turns
Yep.
people into slaves, and
Well,
it's
they
either
had to sign that contract.
right, and they don't. People don't often know. I didn't know what I was signing or swearing to when I.
Accountability.
Well, yes, it's time for our world to find accountability for the truth, and the
No, I
truth is,
mean, don't. You're making people assume they can dodge that when you say they didn't know what they were signing. They didn't know what they raised their
um,
hand. Even in the military, they can grant you conscientious
yeah,
objector.
yep.
Uh,
I understand. I understand the exclusions to what I'm saying. But here's what I realize, right? Um, imagine a structure, right? We can take the technology, the distribution, all the logistics that have been developed for the world. We can take those things and reevaluate the economic system because we got some kinks, right? Everyone is required to
yeah,
have money.
bondage. Species.
Well, consider instead of the inequality of the executive getting paid 300 times the workers level.
Put that value.
Imagine if every business where there was equity, equal responsibility, equal rewards for every employee regardless of the task, because only the services that the community and the people actually want, those will be the only ones that exist. And then if people are creating products, offering services, they're getting a fair return on, everything.
Well, equal isn't fair. You know.
We can be more conscious about trying to find fairness instead of victory.
No, you don't want fairness. You just want to find. You
Honestly,
want people to be competent to find. Well, the word we clash on. The reason people are incentivized to be something or achieve something is because they can't just walk up and say, I want that. That's what a lot of these guys are out here doing. And that's why I stopped helping that tattoo blackface dude, because I realized he's just trying to continue what he's doing, but make me like a hub for it. Like he wanted to just like stash his found things here and make constant offers on trades of stuff I'm not trying to trade. And he didn't really realize I'm like, dude, trying to help you embetter yourself, you know? Um, but like I
hey,
said, Jack, the reason I can work with you all day on conversation is everything you say has a lot to unpack. I just have to figure out how to make you not think it's arguing. It's like we're an 80s show. You think you're here to teach these people are teaching you.
no, they're not. And here,
Well, I am.
actually, this my energy kind of turned because my disappointment set in. The arrogance from you, Daisy. If an executive owns their company, they can do pretty much what they want. And if the
It's
employees
true.
don't like it, they can find a better job.
It's true.
Yep.
It's true.
You've not thought those thoughts through.
Well,
Consider
no,
that from
it's
that employee's perspective. If it's a single mom, a single dad, if it's someone who's got
well
responsibility for others,
that
maybe they've got that job because it provides health benefits, and the only way they can get their damn medication is if they've got insurance. So you're
okay.
not
Then
thinking of it as a human, Daisy May. You're thinking of it as an owner.
does Provo Kid really have 6 kids?
I don't know.
I mean, let's just entertain that. Maybe he was just fucking with us. He said one night he has 6 kids. I was like Mormon, but think about that. He's not in that job because he has much of a choice, and that job wasn't like Provo go Mormon out 6 kids. So he's painted himself into a corner where it's like, well, you'll put up with it for the benefits or maybe cross your legs next time. And don't get me wrong, Daisy was trying to get back up on my panel. I'm not thrilled with her either. I called her a female Jack Talcott, but there is a level of responsibility. And as far as the CEOs, like let's say Elon Musk, in the contract is if I achieve this, we agree shares go to this, and it's up to him whether those shares are increasing or decreasing in value. That could equally fuck him the same way it can benefit him. Same with the guy from AMC. He gets an amount of shares every year based on performance, and that performance would raise the value of the shares or keep him from even getting them. So, I mean, there is a system to this. It's easy to say rich people bad, but not all of them are.
That's not, well, we've got to face the facts. What gives wealth the power is poverty. So wealthy people have more power when there's more poverty. Why? Because half of the working class, just like it's been shown throughout history, half of the working class can be hired to oppress and kill the other half of the working class. And let's face it. Hold on, please, because let's face it.
Well, okay, but you're just going to run with it and I can't unpack.
I'm going to go on to a different, because many of these people we know have wealth are publicly talking about population reduction, sterilization, more control, less freedom. We've got to face the facts.
That's WEF level though. And I agree with that. Yes. That is okay, but that's not, but listen, there's a guy from my hometown, drives a beat up truck, looks like Uncle Jesse from Dukes of Hazzard. He was a fucking multi-millionaire. He just rolls that Zuckerberg look, the low key. He's not doing any of that stuff. You're talking about like billionaires, trillionaires, upper echelon, and those are like talking to like the leaders of countries, and that's just all there can be. You can't get revelations without that.
Here, the Holy Spirit sought me to seek the divine truth.
Did you watch my stream from before I kicked you off the last stream?
I may have, but I can't remember.
I showed how you're not. See, you trigger me when you start letting me sit here and pulling us into this the faith talk. Whenever I can be civil with you, Jack, I'm not going to sit here and submit that you are that. You'll just trigger me if you get us on that.
I'm just like you, Tom.
No, you're not. You're not, dude.
Well, we're more alike.
We're both of the same species. We're both male. We're both of an age demographic, but
we're both here and now. That's enough.
Well, I'm always in past, present, future, but I've explained that.
I know. Here, I am enjoying your company today. And here, I want to share, if I can, this practice I was thinking about earlier. I was thinking about my words, and I practice some of these things myself. Rather than counting sheep.
You know your alphabet and everything?
When you go off to sleep, rather than counting sheep or counting problems.
Nobody does that. Nobody does that.
I used to have trouble falling asleep, especially if I didn't have a drink.
That's your anxiety and your guilt. Well, there's people.
I know it was my guilt because I'd been dishonest to myself. I could try to change this world. I could do more than I was. I could quit drinking. I could walk away from my old disgusting habits. I could do those things, and I was lying to myself, and I convinced myself I couldn't. And people around me accepted my bullshit.
Tolerated.
Easy.
But that's what I'm saying, Jack. Don't think of it as accepted. Think of it as until you're crossing that line with them, they're like, whatever. That's kind of like low key what I'm telling you, like this whole getting everybody on board for one view. It can never be. Just thinking about like that's what else I wanted to say about Anton's level that I don't want. If you're talking to 1 million people a video, do you want that responsibility of what could happen if you said, hey, I think everybody should get together with shotguns and clear out those ghettos? Like you would hold a responsibility and not realize that you can't just shoot just be kind of willy-nilly ad-libbing. Huh?
I wouldn't say that. That's the thing. I'd love
No,
to have an
it was
audience
just a
responsible for
hypothetical.
what I
It was just
said.
a hypothetical, bro.
Right, but I would love to have an audience and be responsible for what I said. I would love that opportunity. A greater
We
audience.
seem to get okay. Well, this is your practice, Jack. We're already kind of holding each other to that without the huge audience.
Correct. So let me try and
So I'm
offer.
saying you ain't ready, baby. You ain't ready. I think by the time you clean yourself up, you're going to have a drastic change in goals.
See, if I had more people who were encouraging me instead of trying to challenge me, I bet I would shine brighter. I'm confident
This
of it.
is challenge isn't bad. It's like,
No, I don't. I agree.
do you remember the flat earther that died because he made a rocket to try and shoot up and prove that it's flat and it killed him? Do you think a little challenge to his efforts would have been good for his well-being?
Sure, but here, if let me I fucking love you, Tommy. I really do. Thank you. And I
And
know you
anybody
don't.
out there that's saying there's flat earth pilots, you're delusional. There's no such thing as a flat earth pilot. Ugh.
Hey, please. Apparently, I misspoke. Not a better audience, a larger, a greater,
Yeah,
more,
larger. Maybe yeah.
more, not
But you
better.
could only get a better audience than what
Powerful,
we share.
especially with you, man. So,
No, I was telling NPC the game. I was like, well, I'll front our interaction coming up to my audience, but trust me, bro, you don't want my audience.
hey, speaking of, and I don't want to start a fight, but can you consider unblocking our poll again? If not me too.
He's
Oh
not
wait, you're
blocked.
not even on there, so never mind. Hey,
On
let me.
where? Well, none of you are blocked. I unblocked everybody so they could dono
Good.
to banishing me. But
Okay.
you're blocked again.
All right.
You got
Thank you.
blocked back to our poll wasn't blocked. He's just retarded. And I think I blocked you because you commented on the bully video
Yeah.
where I was talking about, yeah, he
Yeah.
thinks he's blocked so he won't show up in chat. Peace to the panel in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Jack,
Yeah.
unblock me from reaching you and we'll see about unblocking you on YouTube.
Hey, can
Oh, but
I
I will do this, Jack. I will do this. I'm re-allowing you to membership.
Thank you. I don't have
Right.
I don't have any money anymore. Um,
Right.
Here, it'll happen again. It'll
I
happen.
know.
I'll have
I know.
money again soon. Hey,
Yeah.
so I wanted to share this, right? It's tied to a few of the different ideas of finding peace when you're by yourself. It's a practice we want to do more often, allowing our bare feet to touch the grass or the ground,
Gross.
or allow ourselves to just be with nature and the breeze and the sun and the ground. So when the mind if you can notice it, you can stop it. So if you catch yourself and your mind is overactive, try this. I
That's
think,
not a problem in our community.
well, they don't notice it, but try counting your breath, right? What breathing in? One.
That's OCD, man. And that's one of those
Well,
things you'll do
let me
even when you're
continue
asleep.
it. Let me
All right,
continue it.
go ahead. Go ahead with your
Okay? So
relaxation mantra techniques.
So if we've got an over, what I want to do is, if you can understand what I'm describing, you try it,
Far
and
more. Far more.
and if the practice works, just the memory of the practice of the exercise can help. This is what I know. It's about creating these anchor points and practices in our minds. So if you catch an overactive mind, pause and just remember to count your breaths, especially if you're angry and when you're having trouble finding gratitude as well, when you've lost hope, you're real angry at what the world has shown you. Pause and count your breath. When you breathe in, one, and one, and
Can we get logic for some CPR? I think we
if you
should
can,
segue into CPR lesson.
here, whatever tempo your breath is, just count it and then realize, okay, count as long as you need to, and then realize, okay, I know that I'm counting my breath. I know that I am here. The fact that I can know my breath, well, there's something to be grateful for. And then if you can expand from there, that you're grateful for the breath and you're grateful for the knowing of your breath, you expand your thoughts of gratitude from there. And as you feel more gratitude in your heart, in your moment of being, that's where the more clear thoughts will come through. Yes, and this too. There's many ways to breathe. And this is a great way to calm down too. Intentionally breathe out all of your breath. And then if you're counting your breath, realize I breathe in one and I breathe out. I have no more breath. I breathe in one again. And then you can restart yourself, your inner nervous system. And when we
That's
breathe
Sterling
out,
Right. You know that's Sterling right?
I don't, everyone's
I
welcome.
just wouldn't. It's red flag that you keep referencing her chat. She's really quite insane.
There's
Now I think she's older than I thought, and that's ridiculous.
there's very few that are unwelcome here.
Oh, welcome is different than, hey, this person's in the know. I think our community is good for keeping people in check, and there's a lot of work to be done.
There is a lot of work to be done, but I see it happening. There is different people are putting different people in check in different ways. And then there's other people who are still enabling the nonsense, arrogance, and like
Arrogance and what's the other word that goes with arrogance? But anyway, those are two words quickly getting losing relevance, like gaslighting and some other terms. Like,
well, Paul is who I was talking about. You know,
yeah, I see that, but I see those words getting thrown around in the chat and on panels as well, where it's a new thing to say, and not you right now, but it's a new thing to be like, I got nothing else, so I'll portray you as arrogant. And sometimes just when you're right, and just because I'm not going to hesitate about it, doesn't make me arrogant. These are flat earthers. It's hard not to look. It's hard to be humble around flat earthers.
It's until you choose to be, and once you practice being humble around flat earthers, they might try to understand you better.
Okay, what are they doing? Let's say I am humble. And this is another thing I've found in the years what are they doing when they're berating us as a community? Like, oh, these guys are still globies.
Yeah, you're right.
They're delusional.
Yeah, you're right. They're showing their arrogance, but here's what we can do. We can rise above. We can be the better.
I do it. I just kind of sit there and silently laugh at like I rule their faces.
I've seen you do a great job of just sitting back and kind of laughing.
Because I realize future viewers, let's say people that must be lost on YouTube, they stumble across these videos. I'm going to look like a fucking Chad to these future aliens recovering our society's stuff. And they see me being the lone globy against these flat earthers. And they'll be like, this human must have experienced much loneliness in his time. He's the only one that knew he was on a globe. Because the whole world's destroyed except for a couple hard drives that only have our channels on it, and so they think the whole world was like our end of the panel burst. It's very depressing.
I like the word globe got my mind off into a couple other recent ideas.
I'm just kidding. They're Nephilim. They're Nephilim. There's no aliens. They're Nephilim. I'm just kidding.
You familiar with the name John Ritter?
From Three's Company?
No.
Bad Santa?
Like more politics and
I think I know who you're talking about.
He had some involvement with nuclear disarmament. I think that's who it was. Anyway, I'm thinking we're going to have some guests coming up here where they've been taking this peace movement pretty seriously. They're paying attention to the escalation of war and violence. It's here. It's here, buddy. So Tommy, what if the future looks back and sees these clips as the heroes that united together and brought the solutions?
You know, they say peace sells, Jack, but who's buying?
That's the thing. War is the only thing that's for sale. Peace is freely
Well,
shared.
it's if you could achieve other things, it would end war along the way.
Which other things? I
Like whenever people say there's a problem with abortion, and there is, especially used as a birth control, but if you took care of some elements of society, you'd see abortion just go away on its own, that people aren't using it.
well, here, if we had a just society where children and women were and men were truly cared for, I don't think we would have as much fights over all of these things. And here, Daisy,
There's so much to unpack with that.
please see the truth in your words, Daisy May, and what is here
I have
before
to check
you.
this one.
I want to publicly invite the sitting members of Congress before November. I want to invite those politicians to join our efforts to bring forth the immediate reforms that the world wants. It's available.
Okay, she said she can't imagine there's people that don't want peace. That's true. Even people that sign that line that are out in a field with a rifle right now, they want peace. But for whatever reason, they're out there. They know they have to be out there.
Well, the majority, things are changing. People are fighting the change.
Don't make everyone nice. That's bullshit. Jesus wasn't even nice.
He was kind.
He was kind. He was good. He was not nice. That's how I'm like Jesus.
He was he was everything.
He was. He didn't have a hentai tentacle penis for a tongue like I do, but he wasn't a nice guy. And people don't realize in a lot of his words, he's actually challenging the apostles. He's getting in their asses when he's saying he's doubting them sometimes even because he knows they're human. But it's the challenge that lit a fire under their asses. See, you're reading the chat. Chat got you, didn't they? Well, I'm not watching.
Yep. You know,
I've never denied throughout my Panelverse history. F the chat, man.
Here, I got a question for you, though. I've got an option here in the back. Mr. Steven from the Sanity Machine is here. And he's been pretty vile, pretty disrespectful towards me and many others.
That's how we get along.
Right. And that's actually what I wanted to talk to you about, is how you and Provo and others have been enabling his insanity.
No, I think he's done a good job of, I know what you're talking about. There's a way he can be Discordian, as we all have our style in Discordian. But if you see me and Steven cooking, it's probably off our authentic beliefs or outlook.
Well, but this is the thing. He and you often make rude and insulting assumptions, and then people enable each other. This is what happens in today's world. And the thing is
that whole Tom's cool if you don't come at him. I think that's the same thing.
But here's the thing. I admitted to you, Tom, I've been trying to find the right way to approach you, and I don't want to screw up today for sure.
Jack, you've approached. I mean, we are associates. The thing we don't align on is your core belief and outlooks. I'm not saying they have to change for me. I'm saying if we don't align, we don't I do not believe or intend war can be ended, if anything, because revelations.
But does that belief prevent us from trying?
Yeah, why would I? It's like saying, let's end all sin. Let's make people no longer sin.
Well,
it's impossible.
But Tom, what if the goal is to follow the way of Christ, Jesus, and to lead others, help others lead themselves from sins? Because that's
this is why you should have watched before you showed up at my last stream. I showed in very simple terms through the videos that only took like 6 minutes. There's no chance you would misinterpret that what you're saying cannot be, because it's not about the self. Jesus said, deny yourself, follow me,
Tommy,
pick up the
Tom,
cross.
right.
Jesus
So
said,
what do you
Jesus did
understand?
not say live your truth or live for you.
Well,
He said live
no,
for him.
right.
Well,
And,
you say right as you contradict that.
but here, Tom, I have been living his
For
way.
yourself.
No,
For yourself.
that is untrue. That's what I've been accused of, but that's not true.
Jack, you sit here and tell us. I'm
Tom,
not saying you're doing anything wrong to make your decisions, but
why are you
it's
arguing
obvious it's
with
all
them?
about you.
Well, that's a mistaken assumption. And what could I offer to help you understand that? No, what I'm
When I
doing
tell
is all
stories,
about God.
when I tell stories of leaving my house, despite going against the left hand, telling the right what it does, I tell stories of leaving this house and helping people. You tell stories that you leave and knock on doors and try and get more people to jack up.
Not jack up. I've never said that.
Well, of course, that's my term I just coined.
Right.
But
But
it's
you're
the
painting
coupon. I
my
have a coupon
efforts.
to jack up that order.
You're taking my efforts and then you're adding things
Well,
and you're
you
making
tell
it
us what your
sound
efforts
foolish.
are. Jack,
Tom,
you knock on doors, you go to bars and talk to people to achieve a thing I don't believe is achievable.
and so what? So what does that matter if you don't believe it's
It's
achievable?
why I can't
Okay,
contribute my skill sets or
so
anything.
then, Tom, maybe I
I
should
can't
ask
even get my
you.
own stuff done. It's so taxing.
Well, maybe I should ask you to leave until you're willing to align with me and what I'm doing. Because if you're
We
not
can only
willing,
be friends through task alignment, and that means I shouldn't have been your friend because you're not Christianing. And you don't want to be alone against Steven. Admit it. You don't want to be up here alone with Steven. I better stay.
oh, he's foolish. He
Oh, I'm
lacks.
interested. I want to see how he showed up.
But
Because
I
one
don't know.
thing I like about Steven,
I don't know if I want to.
one thing I like about Steven is we never reconciled or are cool, but I can read when he's there to cook and when he's there to fight. And I'll
All
just
right.
handle
Well,
it
here's the
accordingly.
thing. I don't think I want you here with it. So, I mean, really, you've been sitting here and I've been enjoying the time. Well, let's explore and see. What is your purpose, Stephen? Welcome.
Hello, Jack. My purpose in life is to spread love as much as
What
I
is your
can.
purpose with my time, my
Oh, your
attention?
time. Well, you don't really own time, but you mean my purpose here in
I
your
own this.
show?
I own this time on this stream. Why
Oh,
are you here? Why did you click the link for
hmm.
Talcott
I
Tuesday?
I wanted to wish you happy Titty Cot Tuesday.
That's not
And
what I recognize.
you don't recognize that?
Not your version of disrespect towards me. No, I don't recognize Titty Cot Tuesday.
Can we
So
not have
why are
some?
you so why are you here now that you know that what you brought is not wanted or welcome? Where do we go from here?
Well, Jack, brother, let's have peace together today and have some joy rather than fight. My apologies. I think maybe things got a little bit heated, but I don't mean any disrespect.
Are
I'm
you
just
I'm not buying your lies, Stephen. You're such
yeah,
a grotesque manipulator. You're so devilish in your ways. When are you going to come clean and say, you know what, Jack? I was wrong about this. I shouldn't have done this. You are a liar and a deceiver, Stephen. Until you change your ways and repent, I don't enjoy you. And until I see evidence of change, Stephen, I did unblock you from the StreamYard, but God, that kind of felt good. That kind of felt good. Thanks for your patience, Tommy.
Oh, you just want to bring me up for content then?
Well, it's up to you. I mean, actually, We're about hour and a half. You know what? Maybe I should wrap up. You want to share
Okay.
anything before I do? All right. Tommy, Stephen, thank you for clicking the link, for trying to join. Today, Talcott Tuesday. Talcott's doing what he enjoys. Brothers and sisters, I'm not here online as much for me as it is because I have ideas that maybe I can help you. And if you can find more inspiration in you, if you can find more light in your being, then you can share that in the world around you. And the world around you deserves more light because the light is what has been given. The light of love, the light of wisdom, the light of gentleness, the light of kindness. I know I withhold some kindness and some gentleness, but it's just online, dude. Nobody's getting hurt with me. Let's be serious. All these people exaggerating. Oh, I gotta stop you. No, you don't. No, you don't. No one's got to stop you either. As long as you have a clear mind, you have love in your heart, and your heart and mind are leading you to possibilities of goodness greater than what used to be. As long as you're heading down that road of goodness and good intentions, trying to serve others as you learn and grow in you, that's what life is about. It doesn't have to be complicated. I truly am. I know I say things that confront beliefs, and I sometimes come out offensive. I realize that. Sometimes I even misspeak. Sometimes it sounds confusing what I'm saying, but truly, only you can understand you. Only an understanding version of you, one who cares to know, only that version of you can understand someone else. So if you can get past the times I misspeak or your disagreements on my words, the goal that I'm offering to you is to simplify your own life. Pause, become centered, become whole. You are the center of your entire experience. You are the center of your entire universe. The whole world you experience through light and sound and sensations, it's all with you, in you. So remember to pause. The world will take care of itself, man. Time's going to continue one way or the other. So pause. Connect with you. Allow yourself at least a moment, a few moments each day, and then grow the amount of time that you pause to go within. And with intentions of mind, throw in your love. Change the vocabulary you find for yourself, the way you describe others. Realize that your description just limits you in what you're willing to accept. If you see someone as an enemy, someone you cannot trust, well, you're going to show and look for reasons you can't trust, why you can't get along. But if you have in your mind that life doesn't matter as much as what is really important, and what is really important to me is that I be a healthy example of me, healthy mind, healthy spirit, healthy body. I want to be better than I was. It's your lifetime to do it. Every one of us, every day, we have the opportunity to choose to cling on to the old, or choose to venture out, to expand your comfort zone, to break yourself from what you used to do. So, ways to expand with variety, to change your perspective, right? If you change the way you think, you're going to change the things you say. You change the things you say within yourself and outside of yourself, you're going to be in different places. Different places. It's all systems, right? It's all systems together. But if you just you surrender yourself to the systems and you're doing the same routine, getting up, going to work, paying the bills, and complaining at the bar. You get into those habits of life and you start falling asleep and you're living subconsciously. And you no longer have dreams of success and greatness. You have dreams, nightmares. You got to spend your waking time avoiding those nightmares that you think are going to happen. It's the devilish ways, man. So this is a spiritual game, this life we're living through the veils of consciousness and mind and awareness and intelligence and energies. The emotions within myself, I identify those as spirits, right? Those energies, how I'm feeling, I kind of started naming them and identifying them. Not so much to get to know them, but to know the ones that I enjoy. So here, simplify your life, changing your vocabulary. Stop worrying about what you love and hate, what you like and dislike. Simplify it, broaden it. How about pleasant and unpleasant? How about spending time on what you enjoy and realizing, yeah, I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy that result. If you think before you do, when you do, you don't really have to think. There I go, making it complicated again. I'm really trying to make it simple. The goal is to have faith. And you can find reminders of faith through encouragement. Change your vocabulary to bringing more praise, more encouragement, more compassion into you. You can offer those things to yourself. If the world's denying you support and encouragement, create it on your own, right? Go to God for the answers. How do I do this? How do I understand? Go to God. God is the answer to us all. And brothers and sisters, stay tuned again. I'm going to wrap this up. Stay tuned again. Like I said, we are having guests coming. There is greater things that will be happening on this channel, and peace is the focus. Love is the way. So choose. Choose love. Peace for everyone and live without fear. God bless us all, and thank you again. Peace.